Hey guys, today I wanted to film a book haul. I've been sort of building up books over the past month. So I think I filmed one at sometime in December, maybe the last book haul of the year or something like that. So this is a selection of books that I've built up since then. It's quite a few books. Like putting myself in a book buying ban sometimes helps, I guess, because I'm mindful about not adding books to my TBR shelves. But yeah, sometimes I just see books and I just buy them. I don't know, especially if I find a really good deal. So let me get to the books, because that's what we're here for, right? So these first two books I found at a Dollar Tree, or a $1.25 tree. And so sometimes I always look in the book section, and sometimes I find books that are interesting. A lot of times I find like books that are third or fourth in a series that from an author I've never heard of, but sometimes I find something good. I found, ooh, is he gonna show up in this light? Maybe not. But it's Vox by Christina Doucher. This book was really popular when it first came out. And I was excited to find it so cheap. In fact, I had it just sitting in my, save for later part of my Amazon cart for a while after it came out. It came out in 2018. So a little bit the reason that I was excited to find this one, that I knew what this one was, it is about the United States in a time when women are not allowed to speak more than 100 words per day. And it's like if you speak more than 100 words per day, there's some sort of punishment for you. And because of that, it really limits, obviously, what women are able to do in that society. And so this novel follows one woman who is trying to change things for herself and her daughter. So like a little bit of feminist fiction there. Love it. The other one that I found, I think in the same trip, is called She Loves You, Yeah, Yeah, Yeah by Anne Hood. And this cover is so cute. It's got ticket stubs on the back. And it is, oh, sorry, allergies. Okay, it is about a girl in the 60s who wants to go meet the Beatles. This is another novel, another 2018 release, and it is, I think it's YA. I think it's like historical fiction YA. It's about a girl named Trudy who wants to go meet the Beatles. I think she specifically wants to meet Paul. So, yeah. So I picked it up. The cover actually is what drew me to it. It's so bright and pretty. It has Beatles hair behind the words. So I thought that was good. So those are both from Dollar Tree. So, only spent $2.50 on those two books. So that's nice. Speaking of other deals, I'll show you this one. I picked up Songs of America, Patriotism, Protest, and the Music That Made a Nation by John Meacham and Tim Mcgraw. I know you can't really see Tim Mcgraw's name because this one came from the bargain bin at Walmart, my local Walmart. And it wasn't a book that I really had on my radar, but when I saw how cheap it was at Walmart, in the bargain bin or whatever, I was like, yeah, I'll buy it. Oh, you can see, here's the authors on the back. It is one of those nonfiction books that tells you things, but it also has really excellent photography mixed in. And John Meacham is, here you go, some more photography. John Meacham is an excellent, historical writing. I just recently read his Truth is Marching On, which is about, and the hardback underneath is printed. Oh, I love a, printed hardback. Like the hardback itself is printed. But anyway, I just recently finished John Meacham's His Truth is Marching On, which is about John Lewis, which was amazing. So I'm glad I have this so that I can keep going with John Meacham, right? And I only paid $5.97 for a really nice glossy paged hardback. Okay, so going around with books that I bought in stores and such. I also, in one of my trips to Target, was in a mood to pick up some things. I picked up Call Us What We Carry by Amanda Gorman. Amanda Gorman was the poet who read what is The Hill We Climb at the inauguration. And she is the youngest poet laureate of the United States, I believe. And yeah, it's got this ugly, I'm gonna have to deal with this sticker. And there's a picture of her on the back, so you might recognize her face. And I had a friend who was reading this and highly recommended it. Oh, it's got some foiling of the title on the hardback itself. So yeah, I have a friend who was reading it and just gushing about how she felt about it. So I thought, yeah, I'm really interested in reading it. And one of my goals this year is to read more poetry. So there you go with that. I also picked up another little book of poetry called I Am the Rage. Okay, and it is by Dr. Martina McGowan, and it is poetry about a black woman's experience in the United States. You know, growing up here in the United States. And the illustrations are by Diana Ijata. I could be pronouncing that wrong. But yeah, I saw the cover, like the bright colors really drew me in. And then I picked it up and kind of flipped through it and read, you know, the blurbs and decided, yeah, I'm really interested in reading this. Part of my plan to read more poetry, specifically more contemporary poetry, and that's contemporary. And then I also picked up When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. Alyssa Cole is a writer that you may have heard of more for like her rom-coms, like her romance novels. I think she's also written some like historical romance. This is a thriller though, and it has to do with like gentrification. So I was like, a gentrification thriller? Yeah, okay, cool. And it's Alyssa Cole. Like, I feel like you can't really go wrong with Alyssa Cole. So I picked this up when I was at Target in that trip. You can see all these Target stickers. Okay. In a different trip to Target, y'all, I am shameless. This is why I need to stay out of that store. In a different trip to Target, more recently, I picked up If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy. Julie Murphy is the writer of Dumplin'. So you might have seen Dumplin' on Netflix or read Dumplin'. And Dumplin' has companion novels like Puddin' and Punkin'. But yeah, and it's about these teens that live in this small Texas town. And I really enjoyed it. The only writing of hers that I've DNF'd was, I think, her very first novel, which was Side Effects May Vary, and it was because the main character was such a bitch. So anyway, this, you can kind of tell maybe from the cover, but this is about a plus-size woman. You know, it's romance, and it really appealed to me because, you know, we're coming into February, and yeah, I like a good romance, and I like romance that's representative. Like, I like romance that, you know, and it kind of gave me vibes of The One to Watch, which I read that last year, so I grabbed this. But I think it's like, so it's plus size romance. I think it's Cinderella, maybe, because If the Shoe Fits, right? Cinderella. So probably a retelling. I don't really know. I don't have to know a lot. When I see like some of those auto-buy authors, I just go for it. And then this one I picked up because it had an extra little bargain sticker. So I got this one for $9.99. So a hardback YA for $9.99. I was like, all right, cool. It's brand spanking new. And I've seen some people in various vlogs and such reading this and enjoying it. So I wanted to get in on that because I am a sheeple like that. But it's All of Us Villains by Amanda Foody and Christine Lynn Herman. I've never read from Amanda Foody. I know that a lot of people love Amanda Foody. This has to do, I think it's got trials, which is another thing that was like, yes, but there's some sort of like magic involved. And so I was like, yeah, yeah, trials or magic or whatever. Yeah, I'm here for that. And look, it has some foiling on, come here, cooperate. Some foiling on the hardcover itself, which I think is lovely. I like little details like that. Little details like that make me happy. Okay, so yeah, I didn't know a whole lot about that, but I saw how cheap it was, like, you know, marked down, and then other people had been reading it on BookTube, and I was like, yes. So the next two I want to show you are from my book of the month, my most recent book of the month. I guess this is my January book of the month. I got Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. The cover of this, can we just take a moment to look at how beautiful this cover is? But it has to do with a family who is trying to like sort of find their cultural, their heritage, and it has to do with like Caribbean heritage, and they're trying to like work on relationships, like, so it's like a novel that's like contemporary, familial, you know, interactions, and I like a novel about that. Yeah, oh look, so like the title page is super pretty too. So yeah, I'm into that. Like, I was like, yeah, I had heard some good reviews of that, so that's why I picked it as part of my book of the month for January. This is not, what am I saying, paid, you know, advertising or anything like that. I also grabbed The Four Winds by Kristin Hannah, because it was like book of the year, and I got a free book. I missed out on, I guess, I don't know, on my book of the year pick. I went ahead and got this, so like, oop, and this month I have, that was my robot vacuum. The cats are running and being stupid. You probably hear them too. But anyway, I got a free book this month because of it being my birthday month, so there's that. But okay, so I've only read one Kristin Hannah book, which was The Great Alone, and I read it because it was a finalist for the book of the year from book of the month, and I hated it. Oh my God, did I hate it. It took me almost the entire year to read it. When I finally finished reading it, it was like, I just was like, get it off my Kindle, right? Like, swipe, get it off my Kindle, because I hated it so much. Like, I understand that there needs to be a little bit of drama, a little bit of maybe trauma, like, you know, something to kind of push along the plot. I get that. I truly get that. But it felt like we were reading domestic abuse pornography for like 200 pages. Like, it was just like describing all of these interactions and beatings and stuff. Like, no, that, like, it needed to be edited down. So when this won book of the year, I was like, ew, right? Based on my my interaction with The Great Alone. But, you know, I'm trying to be fair, so I'm going to read it. It's a chonker. I don't really want to, but I'm going to. It has to do with like the Great Depression, which like sounds like a good time, right? Anyway, and there's always, oh, and another thing about Kristin Hannah is it seems like from some of the reviews I've read and then like blurbs and stuff I've read of her books, there's always like father-daughter stuff, like issues in their relationships and stuff, and I'm just like, whatever, I don't even care. Speaking of book boxes of such, I also have My Fine Fellow by, who is this? Jenica Cohen. And I think this cover is beautiful. I opened this in one of my unplugged book boxes, so I talked about it there. It's really pretty underneath. It is YA, yeah, it's a YA selection. And it's set in the 1830s, I think. I don't know. It's been a minute since I read all the blurbs. But I'm interested in it. It has a little bit of representation. One of the characters is, I think, she's from the Philippines. And I think another character is, he's Jewish. So there's like, and then those those are issues that come up within the plot of the novel because, you know, they're in England in the 1830s. So, you know, there were some issues. I don't know if you've heard. The other one that I got from my Unplugged book box is A Curse in Ash by Julie Xanthopoulos. I don't often say her last name. She's a booktuber. You might watch her videos. Her booktube is Pages and Pens. And this is her novel that she's been working on. It is a fantasy, deals with fae. There's also polyamory. So if you're looking for a title that has, you know, polyamory, like, I think it's well done. I haven't actually read it yet, but the reviews that I've read indicate that it is well done. So, because, like, first you look for whatever it is that you're looking for, and then second you look to see if it's well done, right? And so I'm interested in really getting to that because I've been in kind of a more fantasy mood lately. I really have. So I'm excited to have that on my shelf. That was from the adult Unplugged book box. Let me see. Oh, the most recent book, I'm kind of jumping ahead because all the other books go together. The most recent book that I have is Piranesi by Susanna Clark. I got this for my birthday. My birthday was last week. And it was one that I've kind of had my eye on, but I hadn't actually bought for myself. And so I got this as a gift from my husband and no one can see you. From my husband and my sons. He's over in the background, like waving. I'm like, no one can see you. The camera is pointed at the star. Okay, so the rest of these I have in a giant like set of boxes. Okay, here's what I do. I go on Book Outlet and I'll just have my account open and have my cart open and I'll scroll late at night and go, ooh, and add to cart. Scroll, ooh, add to cart. And then later on, I'll do that again, like on a different night. Sometimes the stuff drops out of my cart because other people buy it and they have a limited, sometimes they have a really limited stock in some items. And then eventually I'll get to a point and I'll say, I'm going to cash in my coupon or whatever, and I will order what's in my cart. So I, about mid-January, ordered what I had in my cart, made my final decisions. Some of these books are more for my classroom library than for me personally, although it might be double dip. I might be interested in them. For those of you who don't know, I'm a teacher. I teach 9th grade English, and I have a little TBR cart thing that you see all over BookTube. And I just have different copies of books. I just stamp them with my name and my room number or whatever, and then the kids are welcome to just borrow them. And I think that making a book so easily and widely available is good. Sometimes, like the way our campus is set up, the library is so far away. Sometimes if a kid just really wants to have a book handy and they don't want to walk across the whole campus, which is quite a large campus, they just stop by my room and grab a book. It's not a big deal. So, and Book Outlet is good because I can get the books super cheap in books that they might be interested in. Okay, so I'm just going to grab these books. So the first book I wanted to show you is We Are the Wildcats by Siobhan Vivian. This is YA. It's contemporary. I think it has to do with a group of, they're high school girls on a team of some sort. What team is it? It's like team stuff. What kind of team field hockey. Okay, cool. So it's high school girls on a field hockey team, and they're coming together, like getting into mischief, whatever. I picked this up. It's a lovely cover. Like the stars are foiled, and then when you open it up, it's like purple on the inside. I think that's beautiful. I picked this up mainly for the cart in my room because I thought that this might appeal to some of the high school athletic girls, right, who are on teams. So there's that one, that first one. The next one I have, and I swear they're not all this like purple color, is A Wicked Magic. Okay. And this is by Sasha Lawrence. First of all, I love the aesthetic of this cover. Like, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's a really pretty dark purple underneath the jacket. And it has to do with being witches. And I think I had put this in my cart back in, like, I don't know, October, because I was like, you know, in a witchy reading mood. So, and I think it's also YA, so this one might end up in my, it might end up in the cart in my classroom. It's a 2020 release. Yeah. Witchcraft, Friendship, Demonology. Ooh, Lord. Northern California. Okay, cool. So yeah. So I picked up that one. Oh, the next one I want to show you guys is Majesty, which is the second in the American Royals. And it's not from, I didn't get it from Target. I got it from Book Outlet. Obviously, they got it from Target. And this is by Catherine McGee. And it's just, you know, dark blue underneath. I have American Royals. I'm interested in the premise of American Royals. I picked this up because I thought I might like it, and so therefore I'd want this one. And it was super cheap on Book Outlet for me. And the premise of American Royals is that when the young nation and those ruling the young nation, you know, in our history, they, you know, after I think the first term, they told President Washington, George Washington, hey, how about you just keep ruling and just be our king? We really like you. And he said, no, that goes against what we fought for. We try to get away from a king. We don't need a new king. I won't be your king. And so this set of books goes along with the idea of what if he'd have been like, sure, and became king. And then we had this, you know, royal family in the United States from then on, and it's following, it's contemporary. It's following the descendants of George Washington and their, like, royal family. So it's like all the scandals of royal family stuff. And yeah, like, I dig it. Like, I'm a sucker for that sort of stuff. But this is the second book in that. I don't know anything about it, and I don't really want to know anything about it. It's a 2020 release, and it's YA. So yeah, there's that. Okay, cool. The next one, oh, I'm excited about this one. The next one I have is Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. And this one, have you guys seen it? Okay, so this is what it looks like with the dust jacket on. And then you take the dust jacket, it's got like the clear on it. It's like the film one. And then it's a little different because it's a printed hardback underneath. Oh, y'all, I'm a sucker for like some of these like gimmicks with these. I don't know, honestly, a whole lot about Permanent Record. I just know that it's some of the people on BookTube that I have paid attention to their reviews, have read this and liked it, loved it, felt some kind of way about it. This is a 2019 release, so not that old. And it is, yeah, like, I think it's set in New York. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's set in New York. It has to do with, like, celebrities and friendship and things like that. And I trust the reviews that I saw. So I'm just gonna, but I love the aesthetics of the cover. Okay. The next one that I wanted to show you guys is Gods of Jade and Shadow, hello, by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Also, let's take a minute to admire how beautiful this cover is. This is, this is Mayan inspired, I believe. It is fantasy, and it's set in the Jazz Age. And so, like, just those few things just have me going, yes. I believe there's some sort of, like, questy, trippy, like a quest trip thing going on in it. And I'm excited to get to it. Like I said, I've been in kind of a fantasy mood. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting to this. This is another 2019 release that I have here. It might end up in my cart. It depends on how I feel after I read it. A book that definitely is bound for my cart is Between the Lines by Nikki Grimes. This is the second of these books. I think that Bronx Masquerade was the like the main one, and this is the companion one. I don't think you have to read them in a specific order. I have Bronx Masquerade already in my classroom, so I wanted to add this because I actually saw a kid with Bronx Masquerade in their hand, and so I was like, well, let me add to that. If I see someone actually holding one of the books from the cart, I'm going to add to that if I can. This was a 2018 release. And it's got I think it's got different like POVs and stuff. And it's about, it's YA. So it's about like young people. So there's that. Okay. Yeah. The next one that I wanted to show you guys is The Boneless Mercies by April Genevieve Tucolt. This is, let's see, I believe it is like, it's a group of women, and they go and they like take care of killing, you know, whatever thing, you know, giving like mercy killings, I guess, or whatever. I think this is the one that's connected to like sort of a Beowulf type thing. I think there's like some sort of monster or something out there. I don't really know. It's a 2018 release. I know that, oh, I'm sorry. It's based with Norse mythology. Hello, can I talk? And I think it's more YA. Yeah, I think it's YA. I've heard mixed reviews about this, and sometimes mixed reviews make me want to read a book more because I want to see. I just want to see where I fall within that. And so I have this. It's like female positive, I believe. And so, yeah, I'm really into this. And I'm kind of digging the aesthetic on the cover. Okay, so that's one I picked out for myself. Another one that I picked out for myself is The Initial Insult by Mindy Mcginnis. This is a author by, like, Mindy Mcginnis is an author. I've read several of her works. So when I see that she's got a book out, I pick it up. It says here that it's the first in a duology, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, from Mindy Mcginnis, I've read Be Not Far From Me, The Female of the Species, and Madness So Discreet, right? So you can see, like, I've read a few of her stuff, so I'm really into this. And this is a 2021 release, so I'm interested in this. She writes YA, and I, you know, honestly, I don't really feel like I need to go in and read much more of it, because I think that's enough for me. Another one that I have, and again, it has a Target sticker, but it's from Book Outlet, is The Echo Wife by Sarah Galey. I have Magic for Liars, which I haven't actually read yet, but I've heard, I saw where Kayla over at Books and Lala was reading The Echo Wife, and I'm interested in it. So in the premise, it has to do with like clones, and I was like, ooh, clones, yeah, I'm interested in clones. And so it's another 2021 release, and yeah, so like that's all I needed to know, like, oh, a new release and this author, and yeah, so we're going with that. Another one that I picked up is this paperback copy of All the Ugly and Wonderful Things by Bryn Greenwood. This novel won. Did it win Book of the Year, or was it just a finalist for Book of the Year? I think it actually won in like 2018, maybe? I don't know, y'all. I could be like wrong about, oh no, earlier than that, maybe like 2017. But anyway, I've heard that it has some like really uncomfortable content, but uncomfortable content doesn't usually scare me. But again, like, I'm kind of working my way through some of the finalists and winners of Book of the Year from Book of the Month, and so that's why I picked up this one. Got it for a steal, obviously, because we're talking about Book Outlet. Okay, another in this box is The Death of Sitting Bear by Scott Momaday. Hello. And this is new and selected poems by the author, and it is like this nice little hardback, And again, I'm interested in reading poetry, more poetry this year, but also, you know, not just any poetry. This poetry is from an Indigenous author about Indigenous subjects, and so I'm here for it. I want to, you know, read poetry that encompasses different groups of people. Oh, this one. I'm excited by this one because I am a spooky bitch. This is called The Good Demon by Jimmy Cajolius. And it's about a girl who has a demon in her, right? Like she's like the Exorcist. She got a demon. And her church performs an exorcism on her and gets the demon out. The twist is she didn't want an exorcism, nor did she want her demon to leave. She liked her demon. She felt like her demon was her best friend. So that right there is what I was like, oh, add to cart, right? Because I was like, I'm interested in this whole like she wants her demon back. And so she's on a quest to get the demon back, to possess her. Like, I don't even know how one would go about doing that, because you can't just run down to Target and pick that up. So anyway, that one is definitely for me and not the cart in my classroom. I also picked up 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. This is romance, like contemporary romance, I believe. And it has to do with, you know, let's see. Oh, people of color, you know, has black characters. I think it says on the back, it's a smart, sexy testament to black joy. I think it's important to read, you know, books that aren't just about, like, regardless of like what race or ethnicity you're talking about. That's not just about trauma and drama, right? You need some joy in there. So, like, I'm interested to have this on my shelf and read this. I believe it's a little romancy. Yeah, falling in love. Yeah. So, and who was talking about it? Somebody was talking about this book and reviewed it positively. And I was like, yeah, I don't remember who was reviewing it. I'm sorry. I would shout them out, but I don't know. And this one I think was, I don't know, but it's a 2021 release, so it's a very new release. I'm excited to have it. Might read it sooner than later. Okay. Y'all, I'm still trucking along on this. The next one I wanted to show you is a copy of The Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. I picked this one up, and it's not from Target, but it is from Target. It's from Book Outlet. I'm still digging in this box of Book Outlet books, because y'all, you end up buying like a crap ton of books for not a lot of money. I have read Kindred. And it's a standalone. This is not a standalone. This is part of a series. Has to do with, it's set in the 2020s. Has to do with climate change. Has to do with like people having powers or you know, special attributes. And this is, I've heard, who did I hear? Reagan over at Peruse Project was gushing over this one in the past year. Like I think she read it in 2021, and I've read Kindred, so I know that this author is amazing, and so yeah, I wanted to have a copy. I think I was able to get a copy from like Kindle Unlimited, but I didn't want to read a copy from Kindle Unlimited. I want a physical copy sometimes, so that's why I picked it up. It was super affordable for me. I also picked up Save the Date by Morgan Matson. And it says it's from Walmart. It's not from Walmart. It's from Book Outlet for me. My first Morgan Matson, I think, was like last year, and I listened to it on audiobook, and it was The Unexpected Everything. And the Save the Date one, I think, like, sometimes I just want a sweet contemporary about these kids, and they think their problem's a very big deal or whatever, and so I picked this up. And this one, I didn't even know this when I ordered it. It's a signed first edition, so it's a signed book. So I love, y'all, I'm a sucker for a signed book, let me tell you. Like, make it a little special. And also, here's the thing, here's a cute thing in this. The inside of the dust jacket has like an illustration that has to do with the family. Because it has to do with like a girl and her sister is getting married, and there's all kinds of hijinks. You know, anytime that somebody's getting married and there's lots of planning and stuff going along, there's some hijinks. And so, yeah. And it's like, it's real fan. And Morgan Matson, like, okay, side note. When you're looking at YA that involves like family of any sort, a lot of times the parents are like Charlie's Brown parents, where they're like wah wah wah, and they're not very fleshed out, and they're not very they're just like there because they have to be there because, you know, whatever. When Morgan Matson writes in family and parents, she makes them like real people. Like, she doesn't just write in parents because she has to write in parents. She includes them in her the character dynamics and her plot in a way that's very authentic. Okay. This one I picked up. It's called To Have and to Hoax by Martha Waters. It is, you know, from back in the day, I guess. What am I saying? Like Regency, I guess. It's a 2020 release. It's a bit of a romance. I think it has to do with, like, you know, in those days women had to get married. So, you know, finding out, getting married, and not liking each other. So that was a thing that happened. So, you know, I'm interested in that. I like a little historical romance, and the cover of it was not your traditional historical romance, so that kind of got me. I also picked up You'll Never Believe What Happened to Lacey, Amber Ruffin and Lacey Lamar. So it's got two authors, and they're writing, and they are, you know, they are two beautiful black women, and they are writing about some of their experiences living in the United States. There's actually like some interesting discussions that I've heard about this. But I like a duo published piece, like a book this came out last January, so it's not terribly it's not terribly old. But again, I think it's important to, and this is nonfiction, so I think it's important to pay attention to voices and what's being said and experiences that people are having. So this is a little bit of short little nonfiction thing, and I have a feeling that, you know, they might have some like wit and humor and things like that. The blurbs on the back really get me. So like, it's blurbed by like Retta from Parks and Rec. I love her. So if she blurb it, now I'm like, yes ma'am, I'm gonna buy that book. I'm gonna read it. Okay, so this is an example of how I'm crazy and weird. I picked up a Vowel So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kimmerer. It is the third, I think, of the trilogy. Oh, the cover's so pretty. It's the third of the trilogy. It's dealing with like the Fae, like this girl goes into the Fae world or whatever, like, you know, that kind of thing. It's the third of the books that start with A Curse So Dark and Lonely. Y'all want to hear something dumb? I haven't read A Curse So Dark and Lonely. Like, I see it on my shelves. It appeals to me, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. And I don't have the second book. So now I have the first book and the third book, but not the second book, which is A Heart So Fierce and Broken. I don't have that book. So it's like, girl, you collect in this trilogy and you collect 1 and 3. You skipping the even numbers or what? Yes, I know, it's ridiculous, but this one was so affordable. It's so affordable. So like, yeah, and I'm pretty sure I probably bought the first one at a good price too. Like, I can't quote myself on that, but you know, whatever. And if I read that trilogy and I like it, I'll keep it on my shelves, or I could put it in my classroom because it's YA. Okay, so pulling out some other. Oh, this is another set of poems. It's very short. Poems come in very short volumes. This is paperback. It's called Instant Winner by Carrie Fountain. When I go to buy like poetry and things, I'll go to like Goodreads and read some of the, it's like very like shimmery. I'll read some of the reviews and things to see what the poems might be about. I'm more apt to read poems about grief or nature or struggle than I am to read poems about love, because I feel like poems about love tend to be all the freaking same. So I picked up this one. I think this one has to do with motherhood. So there's that. Another thing that I picked up is the adapted for young readers, When They Call You a Terrorist, A Story of Black Lives Matter and the Power to Change the World by Patrice Kahn-Coolers and Asha Bandele, with a foreword by Angela Davis. This one I picked up for my classroom, but I'm also really interested in, and it just basically has the accounts of people. And what I like is how they kind of add their own little notations to it. So you had some notations there. There's also some photographs and illustration. But yeah, like there's like notations in the margins. I like that. That's kind of makes it like a more personal style. But I picked this up for my classroom specifically. But again, I'm interested in it myself. And it was published, let's see, when was this published? Oh, 2020. So this book is fairly new. So I'm going to put that in the stack for my classroom for sure. The next one I wanted to show you guys is My Calamity Jane. This comes from the Jane series set. Well, they're all companion. They're all about Janes. From Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. I read My Lady Jane, and I have my plain Jane on my shelf, and I really want to read it, but I want to read Jane Eyre before I read it, because that one's focused on Jane Eyre. This Jane is like Calamity Jane, as in like the Old West, I think, and she's like shooting guns and stuff. It's, what Jane is she? I guess Calamity Jane, set in 1876. Okay, so, and it has deckled edges. I know some people hate deckled edges. I like a deckled edge, because deckled edges are, fun, whatever. But yeah, this is some YA. I think they've moved on. They've moved on from Jane's. I don't know what name they've moved on to yet. But I'm enjoying the books that they're putting out. They're like My Lady Jane was fun. It was irreverent. It didn't really stick to the history, but it was fun. I really enjoyed it. Okay. The next one that I wanted to show you is, None Shall Sleep. Okay, and this is by Ellie Marney. And as you can see, you're dealing with sort of a slasher thriller thing, right? And this is a YA, and cooperate with me. It's just a plain black book. It's dealing with, it's YA. It's set in the early 80s. This is a fairly new release. It came out in 2020. But they're teenagers who are working with the FBI in the early 80s to try to help track down someone who's closer to their age. So, like, that's kind of interesting. Like, it does have ties to history, but is, YA, a novel. And then, like, I'm a basic white girl. I like true crime. I like learning, like, the history of the FBI. Like, I was really into Mindhunter. I mean, I guess I still am, but they're not making any more seasons. And it had to do with, like, the FBI unit. They're hunting down serial killers. Serial killers are, like, always a fun topic, right? So that's kind of interesting. And that's why I had that added to my list. And then the final book that I have, like, this is all the books that I have. The final book that I have is A Universe of Wishes. Hello. Okay, and again, the aesthetic on this cover is so pretty. It is from the We Need Diverse Books anthology. This one is edited by Danielle Clayton. You'll recognize Danielle Clayton. She wrote The Bells. And it has different authors like Samira Ahmed, Jenny Bollock, Libba Bray, Danielle Clayton, Zoraida Cordova, Tessa Grattan, Kwame Mbalia, Anna Marie McLemore, Toshi Onebuchi, Mark Oshiro, Natalie C. Parker, Rebecca Rowanhorse, V.E. Schwab, Tara Sim, Nick Stone, and like several of those authors are authors that I am just really, really interested in. I picked this up mostly for my classroom because this is from the same anthology collection that Fresh Ink came from, and Fresh Ink is already in my classroom. So there's that. I wanted to make this and these authors available to my students. A lot of these authors are like currently also writing like really amazing things. I'm pretty sure this came out in 2020, and it's just diverse fantasy stories, like short little diverse fantasy stories. So there's that. Wow, y'all. So, okay. A lot of books, I know. Thank you for watching me blabber on about all these books. If you have read any of these or you have some comments about any of these that you want to share with me, let me know in the comments, because I like to check the comments. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you like this video, consider giving me a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, consider subscribing. I'm for sure, like you see from the amount of books here though, I'm for sure going to buy more books and haul some more. So if you like this content, there will be more. There will be more. But I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.